Hello and welcome to another episode of The Daily Fix. I'm Akeem filling in for Damon, and on today's Fix, we've got lots of WB Games financial news that may affect some of your favorite franchises. And the popular indie game Vampire Survivors is finally coming to PlayStation. This is your Daily Fix. Now, were you one of the few people who played Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League and thought to yourself, man, I'd love some more Batman games, maybe with Batman in it as a playable character? Well, good news for you because WB Discovery is thinking the same thing. Now, in a recent earnings call, WB Discovery CEO David Zaslav and the president of Global Streaming and Games, JB Perrette, admitted that their internally produced games have given, quote, uneven performance. Now you can point that finger right on to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which helped bring down WB Games revenue 41% this year. It was year over year, actually. Now we'll have more on that in just a bit, but what you need to take away from this is that Warner's is now looking to leverage their famous IP in deals with other studios. Now, Perrette recognizes that maybe they didn't do a good job making a good game in the form of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which was launched earlier this year to average reviews and even worse sales. In contrast, WB had the best-selling game of the year in 2023 with the well-received Hogwarts Legacy, part of the Harry Potter franchise. As Zaslav said, the company still wants to make games using their 11 in-house studios, but that there's, quote, a lot of interest among others in coming to take advantage of some of that IP for gaming, which is something that they're looking at. So it sounds like other studios are interested in making games with Warner's IP. It seems like it's working for Star Wars, who recently had a hit with the EA-produced Star Wars Jedi Survivor last year and is looking to replicate that success and that magic with Star Wars Outlaws, developed by Ubisoft later this month. And what about WB Studios, including the recently acquired Player First Games, developers of Multiverses? Like Zaslav and Perrette said, they're interested in growing their games business, especially in the free-to-play space, which might be able to provide them with a steady source of revenue. Now, what do y'all think about all of this? Should Warner Brothers get other non-WB studios to make, say, I don't know, a Superman game? Maybe give the people what they want, like a Batman game with Batman in it as a Batman playable Batman character. That's what we wanted. Anyway, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Now, what's this about the Suicide Squad game dropping WB's revenue? Well, while that game is not the only reason, their games division saw a 41% drop compared to 2023. It was the main culprit. Now, as we mentioned in the previous story, Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game of 2023, moving 22 million copies that year. So WB Games already had a pretty big mountain to climb in 2024. Now, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League did so poorly that it resulted in a $200 million impairment charge in WB's earnings report last quarter. And for the non-business savvy like myself, an impairment charge is when a company needs to write off or report a reduction in value of some assets that they previously thought would have a higher value. And speaking of impairment charges, WB Discovery, the parent company to their games division, took a massive one this quarter, believe it or not. Now, the company reported revenue of $9.7 billion, but an overall net loss of $10 billion, mostly in impairment charges, again, meaning that they thought their assets were worth more than they really were. Now, other causes for these huge impairment charges come from WB taking a harder look at their TV networks and streaming assets. WB is losing the NBA license after this coming NBA season, and advertisers are less likely to spend money on traditional TV ad buys. However, though, there is a bit of a silver lining here. WB subscription services were up from last quarter to a total of 103.3 million. Now, the first time the company has had more than 100 million subscribers. It's crazy. Crazy times over there at WB Discovery. I'm glad I work here. And finally, some non-WB news. Warner Brothers news, the hit indie action survival roguelike Vampire Survivors has a PlayStation release date. Now, the game will come to PS4 and PS5 on August 29th. Now, Vampire Survivors has proven to be a massive success with a ton of awards, including a BAFTA for Best Game and collabs with Among Us and Contra. There's also plenty of free and paid DLC, all of which will be available for the PlayStation launch. Now, the base game will cost you around $5. And you can pay I think about $2 for the DLC. That's a steal. But don't steal it, just pay for it. Again, it's only $5 for the base game, and then DLC's $2. Come on, you can afford that. Everybody's got $7. You got $1? If you don't, you should have one. I don't know where my wallet is. Anyways, that about does it for your fix of Daily Fix. You platinumed it yet again. This was Thursday, August 8th. Now, did you like that? Do you want more? I want y'all to check out our hands-on preview for Call of Duty Black Ops 6's zombie mode. It's frightening, it's scary. If you've ever seen the first season of The Walking Dead, it's similar to that, but not at all. Yeah, that made sense. Anyways, I'm Akeem, and I'll catch you next time.